I really gotta adjust that logo so you can see the black lettering on this background because it says stream and there's some arrows and hey, hello and welcome everybody. I'm Nick. I'm tired. I'm taking a break from writing the Patreon post about all of the stuff I've had to deal with uh this month. I want to say like behind the scenes, but if I'm putting it into post, I'm kind of putting it in front of the scene or the whole thing is behind the scene because it's a I don't know. I don't know where the scene is. That's part of the problem with the sort of like very um parasocial prone sort of streamer industry, something like that. I don't know. Point is, I don't know if you can tell from my voice, but I don't even care what was on the schedule. We've already missed some streams this month. I wanted to do something chill. I wanted to just hang out. I wanted to just relax here with all y'all. But I've been missing streaming. I wanted to do something, and I realized something that I am in a zone where I probably could do it is uh, I have an idea for an art piece I want to work on, and that's something I can just do. I think that's actually something that's going to be kind of easy to work on, a sort of low stress, low effort kind of thing to do. So let's do it. While Krita begins booting up, I'm going to do what is necessary, and let's pick some. Audio library tracks. What do we want to hear? I want a mood. I want happy. I want genre. I want hip hop and R&B. Let's bring that up a bit. Yeah, there we go. I don't even really recall if this whole scene is set up for doing art stuff. Well, here's a cool part. I can make it. Can you look at Krita? There we go. New image. Sure, 1080. That's far bigger than is necessary for my needs. So let's see here. What I'm looking at here is oh, that's too big. Space ghost in the shell. All right, that's sort of my thesis statement. And now we enter the like 5-paragraph high school writing, middle school writing form. Took some screenshots. I took some screenshots in Firefox so they would go into my downloads folder. They would be PNGs. Game Boy, Genesis, Shikiyuki. I gotta clean out my downloads folder. It's just simply too big. Here we go. Talk about these. Insert many layers. Okay. Uh-oh. Cannot transform an empty layer. Uh-oh. Hey, give me one of these. Curious. Oh, these did not, in fact. Interesting. They are all blank. Okay. All right. So maybe I gotta go get them fresh. Anyway, let's let me give you something to look at while I do whatever I'm doing in the background, right? Because you gotta think about it. You remember that part where there's like roads down there and whatever else is going on. It's kind of buildings. Right. And there's little cars on the road. And then Kusanagi is all like she's got her dumb hair. I don't know what her hair looks like. I'm just gonna draw Shinji's live-in mom surrogate. Oh my god. See, this is what I knew. Forget about whatever was on the schedule. I can't handle anything right now. She's square, she got fingers. Boobies out, but they're half invisible. Yeah, that. But I just gotta do. I'm looking for this scene, and I just gotta make a space ghost, which is easy because at the very end we do get a shot of that cityscape completely transparent. So I just have to put the sort of Inviso cloak, Inviso belt, space ghost on top of that, and then try and replicate whatever the Hey, whatever we're listening to on these musics are very nice so far. And I just do, because there's like a sort of warping effect that happens behind her before she goes completely invisible. So I just gotta sort of recapture that with the Space Ghost. The Space Ghost. Brrr. Hey, tell me about Ghost in the Shell. I'm gonna try and capture this again in screenshot. There. No, for some reason this is not capturing. Oh, it's because it's YouTube movies, so it's like a free with ads thing, so I guess whatever it is that I'm using is not working correctly. Okay, let's see if we can grab it here. Yeah, I'll take that. So let's throw this in here. So what I want to do is I want to take this one. Crop out my bad cropping. Oh, rough cropping. I get it to like just this. smudge on my screen. I need to actually get the cleaner out to clean this monitor. Okay. Now that we have that, I'll talk about control. There we go. Nearest neighbor. Forget what's good for going up. This is all gonna get smunched later on anyway, so I'll like get the transform lines out. Just cover. Okay, so we're gonna have to go a little over anyway. How do I get the center line to the center? Let's just call that good enough. Again, for me, this is a shitpost. Be a little bit bigger actually up top. Like, feel like one step, you know what I'm saying? No, because now it's clicking. Oh, okay, well if it's clicking, then we'll just step that up and we'll stretch this down. There we go. I like that. That looks pretty good. Oh, your first car? Geo was your first car? That's my current car. You can read more about it in the Patreon post this month about I had to disassemble the radio to clean out the context on the volume knob. I had to 97. I got the 96. Here you go. Content warning for wounds. I was changing the alternator belt yesterday and scratched myself. I'm surprised. Here you can see on the fingernails. I still got grease under my fingernails. No, that's fine. Honestly, that's part of why I love this car. It's because it's very easy to work on. It's an automatic, but aside from that, everything is manual. So no power steering. I guess brakes are technically powered, but like no ABS. Manual windows. It is so easy to work on because it's like you don't have to reprogram anything. You can just like swap out gears and belts and bolts, and it's just like it's like working on Tonka trucks. It's great. Okay. Now we have the background, and let me roll this video back some frames so we get an idea of what we're looking at here. Yeah, the Geo is really, really good. Like so my Geo started life as a rental car, had the engine replaced, so it was actually on a second engine. My aunt bought it used from the rental place, handed it down to me. I've been driving it since I got my license, which was in high school. So what is that, like around 06? 05 maybe. I got my license a little early because I have always wanted to and enjoy driving. I've done some work to it. I made like a custom rack for the subwoofers in the back. I had to rip the headliner out, but that's okay. I got like custom switches under the aircon to I have like the subwoofers are on a switch. I have extra driving lights on the front that are on a switch. I might be putting something else on the switch soon. I forget what the plans were. I added a tachometer because since it was the automatic, it did not come with a tachometer. I'm thinking about adding a voltage gauge in there too because I've had voltage problems with it before. I've replaced the alternator at least once, if not twice. I love that car. It's easy to work on. I've done a lot to it. And I wrapped it around a telephone pole once. We bought a 97 4-door, because mine's a hatchback, and used the parts from that one to fix this one. And that one was in working order too. It was kind of arguably it was a shame to use that one for parts when it was like newer and maybe was in better condition. I didn't even check. I was like, no, I'm fixing my car. I don't care what I don't care about this car. This car is not the hero car, so to speak. I've been thinking about ripping out the back seats because, you know, the front is surprisingly comfortable. When me and my dad, when we're both big guys, we're both, you know, in that 275, 325 pound range, you know, at decent weight. Like we're elbow to elbow in it, but yeah, the leg room's actually not bad. It sits very low. It is such a stiff car. I bet if it had any sort of, you know, reasonable engine, you could actually set good times with it on like track day. But like, if you jack up one wheel, the other two wheels will come off the ground very quickly as well. I'm not digging this track. These tracks were all good. This is now poolside radio. But yeah, I've been thinking about taking out the back seats and installing basically just a little shelf. Because then if I build my own little shelf, I can put bigger cup holders in it. Because right now, that's what I have, is the back seat is just where I keep my bags for shopping. And I have a bunch of like cup holders from fast food places that I've just lined the floor with. So I can just stick drinks down in the back seat and they actually stay upright. Or not in the back seat, on the back floor. But I figure if I take that out and I add a little shelf, then it would be better for... you know, I've reached an age where I'm not carting friends around in high school anymore, so it's not like I'm giving a lot of rides in it. And the idea of just like, yeah, this is we convey stuff, and it is a more like, you know, basically just turn it into a two-seater. The thing that's really nice, that would be my major job if I wanted to do something like that, is do like rumble seats, like put reverse facing seats in the back, because you park it at a drive-in and open the hatch and just recline and stare out that way to watch a movie or something. I've done that 1 or 2 times. I think I had a beanbag chair in the back last time and that actually worked out okay. It's such a good little car. I watch you might know of Dank Pods. But he's got a bunch of other channels, and one of them is Garbage Time. And I recently became a subscriber, and part of being a subscriber is he watches like old Motor Week reviews, because he loves, you know, he calls them nuggets, but anything in that like 3-cylinder hatchbacks, the super subcompact range, like he's a fan of those cars. And it's just funny, like he's been watching reviews of other cars of the style. It's just like, oh, what is a Justy? A 90s super tiny Subaru hatchback with a CVT before those really became a thing. Okay, I'm curious. And just like I'm learning about more nuggety cars that I'm just like, I would get more. Although it's funny, the 96 Geo is old enough that I could technically be registering it as a classic car at this point, you know, get the plates. But you can't register it as a classic car if it is a daily driver, and it is my daily driver. You know, when there's not something I have to fix on it, which happens now and then. But if I did that, like I'm kind of putting myself in the market for I would like an electric, because I live close enough to my job, or most of the jobs that I get, I'm lucky enough to get, that I don't have to do a lot of commuting. So, you know, just a little, you know, a road puddle jumper, if you will. Like, yeah, I gotta go, you know, 10 miles each way to work, and that's about it. Charge it at the end of the day, sure. That would be great. That's right in my use case. It would be quieter. I've always had troubles. We have so many, like, my dad has always been sort of a gearhead, and so we have like always had motorized like lawn mowers and weed whackers and power washers, and just because, you know, he'll get them off of Craigslist and fix them, so, you know, we get them super cheap because we get them broken and then suddenly they're working fine because they needed a gasket on the carburetor or something. I don't know, I'm making stuff up. Oh, I smell barbecue going. I'm gonna have to take a barbecue break in a little bit here, but not quite yet. Let's see. I would actually think it's more of this, but whoops. A little smaller. I have been misplacing my hand on my keyboard lately. I was trying to play some Fortnite Rock Band yesterday, and I kept just putting my fingers down on the wrong starting piece. That's fine. But yeah, like, so I've always been around, you know, gasoline motors, and they don't like me. I don't know why. Like, we'll get along eventually, but I had Power Wheels when I was younger, so I've always been a fan of electric cars, I guess. But yeah, like something like a Geo, but in electric, or you don't get anything that small anymore. That's the real sadness. Like, anything that's a hatchback is like the size of a normal sedan. There's no subcompacts anymore. Yeah, so something like that in electric, and then this I would absolutely keep it because it's in, you know. I don't know if it. Hard to argue that it's in good condition because I've just had to, like, you know, rebuild parts of it so many times. We've replaced axles, we've replaced body panels, we've replaced control arms, we've replaced the AC bearing. Actually needs changing right now is the last major thing that it needs, and even then it needs it if you need AC in the summer, which I generally do, but, you know, I just took the belt off, and so nothing is spinning the pulley that the bearing is connected to, so it's not making a noise. It's not necessarily getting worse, you know. So now I need a Space Ghost reference. Do I need a Space Ghost reference? This is actually a pretty good. This is a fun game. What does Space Ghost look like? Space Ghost is a gumdrop with a chin that comes to a point. And he's got the eyes. I guess kind of almond shaped. He's got the. Actually, this doesn't touch the bottom of the cowl, but it doesn't touch. But then there's the cape over here. Triangle down here, which just has his face again. And he's got power bands. Power bands have 3 buttons. And now he's just like, you know, beefy muscles. Except when you look at this, like it's kind of weird, right? Because it's too big for his head, even the way I've traced over. It's funny when you trace over, like.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
The hell is this? I don't hate it, but it's just called Go. By Nefex. Okay.
I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Bit like this, because you want that gumdrop shape. Yes, I don't know if it's going to be realistic or not, but I want to just have something that has like good proportions, right? It's most important that it looks good, even if it's not realistic.
That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go.
See,
I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go.
I'm looking at that, but this is. The movie kind of does this, and I think the movie does this pretty well, because it's actually doing like two things, right? Yep. Because the thing is, while I'm... oh, excuse me. Like, while I'm thinking of this shot, right? This is the shot I'm very directly doing, because I'm going to make this like a 3 sequence with the hand passing over the face. It's just going to be silly because it's Space Ghost's face, so it's just like the only skin tone is going to be like the mouth. They have this is the shot right before it, right? So I don't know about other folks. Oh, that's kind of interesting, actually. So you can see that the shot, the background here is actually pretty much the same. In terms of the scaling of it, so oh right, she's got the gun there. So we go from this to this, where it's actually a close up on the face, even though like, and you know, parallax effects, you could kind of do this where like you can end up being closer to her face with the background having the same sort of distance from the camera and same scale. But it is funny to think we go from this shot to this shot, so it's like she gets bigger even though at this point she's further away, but you know, we're focused. But so like in my head, I'm probably thinking more of this shot, so I should do a version of this shot as well. Because even if I do my own and I just sort of place it in between somewhere, that'd be acceptable, right? You look at this, and we're like, okay, hair's doing something. Music. There you go. Like her head is a lot bigger when you take in the hair.
I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it. Fuse like a magnet, lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shoot tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time.
Shoot.
Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. I'm never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes. Pieces is a form of art. I'm never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes.
The knee up but tucked all the way in is a very like feminine kind of pose. I don't know if that makes like it would not be so pulled in for Space Ghost, but gotta start somewhere, right? Actually, well, the knee would not be in. It would definitely sort of out here somewhere. I think this also looks a little better, giving his cape a little more room to flow. not actually good at drawing like big muscles. I can fake it a little bit, like you can see what I'm trying to go for, but I remember a very, very early like how to draw book that I had was how to draw like superheroes. Must have been Marvel because I remember Captain America being in there. But it was just like, yeah, superheroes actually have like proportionately small heads because it makes their bodies and muscles seem bigger. Got a belt. I forget exactly what's on his belt. And the triangle here. That's a big Space Ghost thing. Is you need this triangle with the tiny Space Ghost on it. Which this looks silly now. I don't know if that's just me or what. Right, but now I'm looking at this, and the thing is, there's bits about this that I like. I want to compare it to this shot, and I think I want to take this one, and I just want to blow this one up, and I'll do something a little in between. Yeah, I might actually be throwing myself off with the See, but I did just blow it up almost to the size that it was.
Ice in my veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it.
Let's just leave it though. What if we just say, yeah, this is probably good? That's enough that you understand it.
Mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day. I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
It's him. It's Space Ghost. That wasn't wrong, really. Oh, he's got the big wide belt. That's what he's got.
tired eyes, need a cup of blend. That's right.
Space Ghost is such a bland character design. He really is.
Just the sun coming up on the horizon. I lose track of time. Yeah, I move fast and climb.
Got the wibbliness on his cape.
Yeah, true passion shines. And I'm
slimy.
passing time. I choose stacking dimes. You snooze half the time while I move passing by.
And he's got those cheekbones. I didn't get the cheekbones here. The cowl is so weird. He has no neck.
I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never
I want to look for like Inviso though. Right? Also trying to find Space Ghost stuff that isn't just screenshots from Coast to Coast. Not that I'm complaining. I love Coast to Coast. Whoa.
Let's go. Yo. I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it. Fuse like a magnet, lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind.
Whoa,
if
where's
you work
this
8
from?
hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the
Here, I guess I should share with y'all a little bit. I'm looking at this now.
New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come
Hadn't seen this design before. So I believe this does pretty much mimic like the original Space Ghost title card. He still has a head shaped like a thumb. The separate logo separate from the cape. Oh, they're gloves, not bands. The black underwear segment, that's gone. I mean, it makes sense. He's supposed to be a ghost, right? So they went mostly white. He does, when the legs are all one piece white, it does make him look like he's wearing like a onesie. I like this idea of the cape is supposed to be less like a physical yellow cape and more like a energy cowl, I guess. Yeah, I'm actually digging this track. It's aggressive. I don't know if I would use it behind a video, but I'm happy to listen to it. 108. Oy. Yeah, I want to find the Inviso because something that might just be color separated in normal line art. Invisible. Good. People are looking at that. I want this, but can I see a big version of this? Oh, that is a smaller version. Look at this. Yeah, kind of just exactly what you would think. Gosh, that's such a rough. Oh, here we go. This is a much closer look. Right? Yeah, all right. I guess if you look at it just like the only things that ever really get color separated is just the stuff that's in pure black. Like, yeah, but his cowl doesn't have anything in it. Oh, it has a little bit of like overlap there, I think. And like his what do you call it there? Otherwise, he just becomes a white outline. Okay, I can work with that. How do I feel about cleaning up a space ghost? Ugh. What about this doesn't look right? What doesn't look right about this? Should it be narrower? Alright. Somewhere between here and there, right? Let's. I can't see anything. That would put his face kind of just up in there, right? Do I want to get his crotch in the shot, though, right? That's a question. Oh, food is ready. Oh, I've been delivered a hot dog. Great, thank you. I do want... Yeah, I'm pretty much right on this, though. I did like the rollover, which is kind of how, I think, Superman's cape usually ends up being attached, but his comes really to a point, so I'll do more like that. And then there's a little more, squaring to the bottom edges of the cowl in relation to the cape in the triangle. This very... Where is his belly button? Is his belly button like down here somewhere? Because like this is the pectorals. They are very high and sharp. I mean, that is... I don't want to just turn this into a let's learn muscles kind of thing. Gosh, and his near hand is higher than his far hand. What is up with it? Don't look at animation in single frames. That's what I'm here to tell you, kids. Very separate from like the hooks of hooks, but then hard down and in. But yeah, the chin and the cleft stick out like that. I gotta get that Nope, I want this one. Like actually the getting it to stick down might help, and then in and down. Yeah, so it isn't a perfect gumdrop shape like that. It's like a roll and then cape, triangle, cape, and then it comes up to here. What are his eyes like? His eyes are actually kind of like closed in the bottoms. Kind of like flat, long, short, right? I think that's kind of the Space Ghost eye shape. So in length, it's 1, 2, 3, shortest to longest. All right. With those notes written down, I am going to take a quick 3 and 3. I'm going to go cram more barbecue on my face. Y'all will see some ads. Not if you're watching the archive. Cycle your fluids. Take care of yourself. I'll be back in a few minutes, folks. Don't stray too far. Okay. What is this music we got going on now? Oh, that's Corn Dogs in Santa Monica, baby. What? All right. Get back to it. Whatever it was. I'm tired. I don't remember. Oh yeah, Space Ghost. Space Ghost. We've really been going for over an hour now. Alright, sure. Alright, so that's kind of... Here's the thing that I want to do. I want to take the old one. And I want to shrink it a little bit. So it kind of matches because I'm going to use this as a rough. Right, because now you can see where the old crop was on this. Here, I'm going to get rid of those. We're just working on this now. So actually, I'm going to... Excuse me. Oh, that's okay. I'm going to darken that up since we're working in white. But you can see where the first version of it cropped on the page compared to this new version. So it is pretty, yeah, and I've made it pretty much the same is what I've done here. I want to make all of these low because maybe I want to do kind of look this also matches the pose better. So I'm going to start here. And I'm going to be trying to do, this one-ish. I'm finally going to switch away from... Oh, I thought I was on my... I was on the pixel brush all along. Was I not? I guess I wasn't. See, it's a very, again, very thumb. There's no corner. I end up leaving corners on pretty much everything I do. Which is funny because some people have told me I cut corners. I don't cut corners. So let's go thinner on this. Yeah, that'll do better, I think. I'm gonna have to do a mock-up of a Space Ghost in a Shell logo. Huh. Well, it's kind of triangular, right? I can do something with that. Back to my classic. Well, line art is basically like clay, right? You add, you remove until you get what you're looking for. And then, of course, the part that I always got to remember, which is just like, I don't need to get things perfect. I'm going to be staring at this for, hours in the creation process. The people who see it are going to look at it for, what, in today's landscape, 20 seconds, probably far less. They're going to see it. They're going to put together Space Ghost in the Shell, and they're going to go, oh! And, that's it. They're not going to sit with it like this, going like, that's not the way Space Ghost's cowl curves into its cape. No, that's me. That's my stupid. That's my stupid. That's my particular brand of stupid. Okay, so basically, And I'm going to do this, I guess, with this forearm absent. So that way I can just do the three stages of it, passing in front of his face. And then just erase behind it as the stage necessitates. It's something like this where I already know like everything that it has to be, and especially now that I've got a sketch and I'm just like in line and then color, and then there's some variants, but again, I already have a very clear picture of what they're going to be. I feel like I could get fully like head down. I'm just going to work on this all night. So I don't know if I'll be able to do that with this style of music, or I mean, I guess just with music. Because if my hands are following instructions, my brain is going to be like, all right, what am I doing? That's how my brain sounds. Manly lantern-like jaw. I mean, of course, the appropriate thing would be to just put on Space Ghost, but I don't want to get terms of service did this evening. Does that look even? How much do I care if it looks even? You flip it. As long as it doesn't look gross flipped, you're fine. Oh, what's wrong? All right. I'll come back to that. That looks okay. Sometimes you see Space Ghost has like the little, the little like double ridge you have right under your nose. I forget what that's called. If Joe heard me, I bet she would know exactly what that's called and would have called it out. I'm already liking this. Oh, I should save my work at all. Okay, that's a good point. It's still April. Base Coast and Shell. Okay. This is song bad. This is shot roulette. Can't lose a friend if you have no friends. Oh. Next page. Castile soap. That array looks pretty good, honestly. Is it great? No. Does it get across the joke, the shitpost I'm trying to? Yes, and that is the success of art. Space Ghost chest phone. Space Ghost speaking. I think that's where I need to leave it for that arm. The moment, at least. Will I regret beginning to add that kind of muscle shading? Maybe, probably. I have trouble knowing how else to sort of evoke it. Well, I mean, you can just do lines, but I don't want to just do lines, you know? This ghost raises his mighty power bands and... There's no way I could sort of, sort of break this down. And I don't know if this pose is iconic enough from Ghost in the Shell to be able to, like, break this down in such a way I could just put this line art on a t-shirt and people would know that it's a Space Ghost in the Shell t-shirt. You know what I mean? Okay, so from here, I want to switch over to this one. I think. That's what I want to see. Wait. Yes. I'm having trouble with this, man. I don't know. I just want to be kind of like this, kind of like this. And from there, figure out how to wrap it around to over here. Well, how to wrap it around over here is that there's a very short bit more of muscles. Then there's a big ass belt. Yeah, what do Space Ghost hips are like? It's in, it's belt, and it's just kind of not great. Space Ghost not looking great in the hips department, but you know. Hi, Jackie. Welcome. We're making a shit post. It's Space Ghost in the Shell. Iconic of shit. I don't know. Hey, welcome in. It's a very chill day today. I have absolutely none energy today. Oh, we took a short break a few minutes ago for dinner, and dinner was all beef. I think even the hot dogs were beef. I think that was an all beef dinner, unless you had some of the salad, which I considered, but I was like, no, I have a stream I need to get back to, so I did not partake of the salad. So I did have an all beef dinner. Oh no. I'd say left beef, but I left none beef behind. all beef came with me in my belly. That's where I transport a lot of my favorite things, in my belly, just like Kirby. Just like Tomba. Dang. Why am I drawing when I could be playing Tomba? Finally, I figured out what today's stream should be. It should be Tomba. I'll take a salad when it's one of those fake salads, like, you know, a macaroni salad, where when they say salad, they just mean we drown this in mayo and sometimes like vinegar and sugar. Not a green salad. It's sort of a noodle salad. I should try making like a pasta salad, but with like a ramen noodle. I bet that's bad. I bet that doesn't end well. What's that? The difference between science and just messing about is making sure to write down the results. So if I do that and I just write down went badly, then that's science, baby. That's all it takes. Right? So I want to say that like pasta salad, potato salad stuff, I don't hear it get spoken of much, you know, only in hushed tones or whatever. But similar to how with barbecue, there is sort of the two schools of origin where it's like, are you a sweet-based barbecue or are you a vinegar-based barbecue? I think there's a similar divide when it comes to quote-unquote salads. I do have Joe. Joe stands on the side, does not partake. Partakes in the science, not of the experiment. And that's fine. Listen, if you want to come partake in culinary horrors, be my guest, absolutely. There are no food mistakes. There's only tasks for Jackie. I like that. Do people come to you when they make the food in Breath of the Wild that's so bad that it gets censored? Is this kind of what we're talking about here? Ugh. Okay, I couldn't handle that. Honestly, I actually probably have more issue with the live part than the worm part. I'm so of two minds about the whole, like, about meat and veganism and stuff. Like, I don't think I could be a vegan. Like, meat is too... Not even just that, like, it's already too... It's not like my diet has been industrialized around it or anything. The way that, like, some people are. They just, like, you know... It is centralized around this. That would be too much of a shakeup. It's just that, like... Nothing satisfies my hunger the way that, like, meat-based protein does. Like, especially when you start to bring in, like, yeah, I don't really like peanuts or legumes. So it's just like, yeah, I don't have other great sources of protein that I could take joy in. But the elements of just, like, yeah, if I could, like there's a part of me that, you know, is, like, interested in, like, what if I get into butchering? Like, I hate the idea of, like, because it's just, like, you know, it's like, I'm going to dissect something that was once alive. We did the year we did like frog dissection in class, and it was, you know, pre-dead, pre-packed frogs. But like I actually couldn't handle it. I was just kind of like frozen and sat there and watched. But at the same time, it was super fascinating, and the idea, like, there's both just like sort of the curiosity part of not blending, butchering, where it's just like, oh, okay, you know, this is, you know, how does this come apart? How does this do it? But there's like a you know, there's a craftsman element to it. If you get really good at butchering, that means it's just like, yeah, you're making really nice, really clean cuts of meat, and you know, there is absolutely a skill there to be learned, and it's a skill. Again, I played some Hard Space Shipbreaker, and I was like, oh yeah, like learning how to most optimally dissect something, absolutely, I can see the appeal. But it's that part of just going like, no, I love the creatures. Like, and like I've thought of it, like if, you know, we did get into like a Mad Max doomsday, everyone lives off the grid now kind of deal, like I would eat a lot of bread. And I would still have a decent amount of meat, but like I don't think I would hunt. I think I would be like the kind of like roadkill gourmet. It's just like, you know, see a carcass, say last rites over the corpse, and then start up the barbecue. You know, it's just like, yeah, like, yeah, like when you want to talk about like the way, you know, meat consumption is mass produced under capitalism, like, yeah, it's under capitalism, of course it's going to be bad. We that's a whole, we can all get behind that. But yeah, for me it is like the morality of it, just like death is weird. That you know, existential crisis, I don't need that in my meal, you know. Honestly, like the two things that get me, the two things that almost turn me into a I don't want to say a hippie, that's become a vilified term, but like somebody who leans in on the sort of like vegan, green, eco, whatever, is when I'm sitting in traffic and it's just like, this is all because we don't have good public transport and everybody is like, you know, driving themselves, independent vehicle use, which I say like that's something that gets me while I am somebody who loves to drive and loves to drive myself. And I'm like, yeah, this probably isn't good that there's this many cars on the road. I'm just sitting in it and looking at it and being like, oh, that's too much. And the other time is when I'm eating chicken wings, because I will demolish a good 24 chicken wings in a sitting. And as soon as I start doing the math of like, okay, how many chickens was this from? And like, I have to make myself feel better by going like, yeah, but they didn't kill the chickens and just take the wings. Like, yes, this many chickens were sort of, you know, raised and then butchered, but like all the different parts are going into something. It's not like, you know, this pile of bones was not their only use, and that makes me feel better, because I do love chicken wings. I love sauce. I love a honey barbecue sauce. I love a nugget. Honestly, one of the weird things that gets me into the idea of butchering is learning that chicken tenders are called chicken tenders because it is the tenderloin of the chicken, and just learning that like, yeah, pretty much every animal has a tenderloin, and I'm just like, okay, tell me about the greater not chronology, the greater taxonomy of tenders. I'll say whatever I kind of spew out on stream, this is probably all I have in the way of like things to say about a topic. Unless you want me to say the same thing in several different ways, that I can probably do. But it's just like, no, like clean these up. Man, I picked to do the drawing because I'm like, I'm already tired today. I don't want to learn a new game. I don't even want to like sit down with a game that I know, but try and like get deep in it. And like, I'm already tired of this. I don't know what's going on with me. I mean, I do know what's going on with me. I was writing my Patreon post for April before starting up the stream, and it's just like, oh yeah, there was a lot of stuff this month that like rest me. And just remembering like, oh yeah, no, I don't like, you know, I'm not one prone to panic. I actually handle high stress situations really well. I manage to keep a level head. I can sort of like be like, okay, this is the problem we have before us. This is the problem that we got to do something to end this problem. And that's going to be, we can do it this way, and doing that requires steps A, B, C, D. And then it's, you know, begin following through, and then everything ends up fine. Like I'm pretty okay at keeping a level head and making it through rough situations. But it is just that thing of just like, yeah, you can do that. You're still under stress, so it's still gonna tire you out. And I'm just like, oh yeah, that would be why I'm tired. Space Ghost. That makes sense. I never thought I was ADHD until Joe was like, no, you totally are. And I'm just like, what? And she names things. And I'm like, well, I do, don't I? You know, you want to know what it is? It's the ADHD has been hiding underneath the severe depression all these years. And now that it's just like, yeah, thanks to the Lexa Pro, I know I have ADHD. It's like, whoops, whoopsie. I'm doing the thing. I'm taking one little fiddly part of this art and just really trying to finesse it when I should be focusing on other stuff. I don't like the way these chesticles look. I'm gonna leave that one blank for now. I'll come resketch it later. Probably the fact that all of this should be more angled if we're supposed to be at a high angle. Actually, in therapy last week, who knows? What is time? I'm not using pure white anymore. We're talking about Legos, because I very much Legos. And it started to come up that like, yeah, Legos might be one of the only hobbies I have, in the sense that like skill and action and creativity with Lego is something I have no interest in trying to monetize or make a living off of. Just like, no, I do Legos. Legos is a way that I de-stress. It helps me to step away from situations. Like, Legos are one of the best way to keep me from like checking social media and doom scrolling and stuff. So the problem that I'm having here is that this belt, right? The way that this works is when upright, his belt is like perfectly this. So if we're above, then his belt should be looking like this. It should be trapezoidal. These should be facing inwards, right? And I have I had the opposite of that. They were facing out, so this is what I need to change. Sure. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's a lot of stuff that, like, I don't know. Like I have a lot of this stuff, but none of this feels like issues. Like, I mean, okay, so like, it was weird that I felt like I had to explain this to my therapist, but just talking about like, oh, you know, it's not a problem. But then again, even in like the DSM, it's like, oh, something is defined as like a diagnosable problem by does it get in the way of you being able to perform a job or pay bills? And it's just like, right. So even when we think we're being kind and taking care of people, we are kind of putting sort of like the capitalist mindset first. That's not good. And even she was just like, oh, shit, we do, don't we? And I'm like, yeah, this is why I'm tired all the time, because I'm always thinking about stuff like this. Yeah, I get how talking is easier than typing, though. I'm definitely like that too. Like, on the one hand, I like typing because it gives me a chance to like think and try to be like, you know, how can I phrase these things so that I'm not misunderstood, because being misinterpreted is, I don't know if I would call that like a big fear, but it's like a constant concern. Should bring this whole in. See, this is where I get stuck. I'm stuck on the considering the shapes of individual lines, and I'm completely losing sight of the whole image. Uh-oh. I know I am. It's so funny because like I know I'm like textbook like gifted kid burnout from when I was in school. I think this was also in therapy. I was telling the story about like after we took the SATs, we all had to have like a mandatory meeting with the guidance counselor. And I go in and she was like, well, what'd you get on the SATs? And I was like, I do not know. I do not even know how I would check. And she's like, all right, well, let's look it up. Oh, 1440. You'll be great at anything you do, anything you want to do. Get out of here. And I'm just like, okay. What do I want to do? Like, it's one of those, like, I've always been sort of like smart enough or had just the right combination of problems that it's just like, oh yeah, no, I am severely masking all the time, but I'm good at it, so is it a problem? And like the thing that's gotten me on a lot of the like therapy and looking into like antidepressants and stuff is just like, yes, I have found like coping mechanisms for my particular configuration. And it's just like, okay, does that mean I shouldn't pursue this stuff? And it's like, it's kind of just like getting around to telling myself like, no, not currently having a problem is not a reason to not pursue improving quality of life, you know? Yeah, Joe really does have a type. Which is very funny. That doesn't look like a hand. What am I doing here? Key to this hand is that be about here. Everything else that happens will be after that. Actually, it's funny because the other way of looking at it is like, yes, my guidance counselor was like, you'll be fine at whatever you want to do. And I'm like, okay, all I want to do is take a nap and play video games. And to her credit, I am extremely good at taking naps and playing video games. So, who's to say anyone was wrong in this situation? I'm not good at capitalism. Trouble with job. Trouble with authority. I forget which one that was. I just still think it was really funny that like the CATs, the career aptitude test, it was like, okay, there's two main things you should be, either an auto mechanic or a social worker, and social worker was ranked higher. And I'm like, but I don't like people. Listen, we're all called out here. This is welcome to NASA. We're all on blast down here. Down here? That's Pennywise. I've never read that book. It's good enough for now. Okay, so, and again, this is more stuff. How come when you show up, I'm just kind of start going down all of the stuff I talked about in therapy last week? But I was talking about, I love that, I don't even know if it's so much a thing of whether I like or dislike people, right? Because that always depends on the person. It's a big thing. But the thing is, like, I'm very person avoidant because I'm very like, people are very hard to read and I don't want to upset people. Like in a sliding doors kind of situation, I would have been like a huge people pleaser, and I could have absolutely been a very like, oh, I'm on stage because I learned how to make everybody laugh because that was like a survival mechanism. But I went the other way, and I was just like, I'm sure I can figure out farming. How about I just never interact with people ever again? And that is the path that I ended up on. In terms of how I approach being people avoidant instead of pleasing. But there is something of like, I worry about people. I worry about how they react to me being very, I almost called myself autistic coded. I'm not a fictional character. I'm not Amuro Ray. Are you Amro Ray? Who wants to know? Sorry, it happened. But so like, on people, I don't even know so much that I don't like people. It's just that like people pose a certain threat to me in my emotional state, so I become people avoidant. The way I put it is like, I have a way easier time caring for people that I don't know, because once I know somebody, I'm like, oh, I see what your problems are. I see the way in which you're, mean or oblivious or otherwise causing something that is sort of like a problem for me. So some people just have, bad. And like, sometimes it doubles down and it's just like, I want to be mad at you because you seem vile, but I cannot help but think like, yeah, but you're just people, and people ending up vile are more often than not like a victim of circumstance. So it's just like, okay, you've done a terrible thing here, but that's not necessarily who you are as a core. That is just where you've ended up. So it's hard to be mad at a person and not the things that led to a person being made into that kind of person. And it's just like, when you don't even have the outlet of being able to be mad at somebody as a way of coping with people who upset you, I find, as somebody in that situation, that it makes it harder to deal with people. Because like, I feel like I see plenty of people out there every day who are just like, that guy's an asshole, fuck him, and then they move on with their day. And I'm over here, it's just like, oh, he's being an asshole, but does he really mean it? Should I be the bigger one? Should I try and care for this person? Should I try to lead him? But it's just like, no. I don't get to move on with my day. That's a headache now. People are headaches. It's just like, yeah, I love people as long as they're over there. As soon as I have to like interact with them, they're a headache. I want the best for everybody as long as they're away from me. And Joe got my ass totally and completely in a way that like I feel like I want to tattoo on myself as like a warning label. She said that I was kind to animals only, which is like very much it's very much true, but it stemmed from this place of just like, yeah, animals can be jerks, but animals lack a certain sense of self-awareness. It's like they are more responsive, you know, they're more instinctual. They and you know, we can talk about crows and dolphins and shit, and about how, you know, human intelligence isn't as far above animal intelligence, or examples of animal intelligence, as we like to believe ourselves to be. But there is an element of like, if you tell a dog they're a jerk, you're not doing anything. If you're telling a person that they're a jerk, well, now they are either, you know, they can respond to that. And it's like, okay, well, are they going to continue to be a jerk? Are they going to get defensive? Are they going to apologize? And that's sort of the thing about it, is like, oh, you know, it's hard for me to blame animals because they have the one path to walk down. People have a level of cognizance to the world around them, and a level of like hypothetical thinking of just like, oh, sympathy. Like I think animals can have empathy, but I don't know if they can have sympathy, because sympathy requires that level of like abstract thought of like, okay, based on what I am observing about them, put myself in their shoes. What are they thinking? You know, I think that empathy is like, what is it? Sympathy is when you can imagine what they're thinking. Empathy is when you have felt how they are feeling. In a sense, it's like, you know, have you been in their shoes, or can you only imagine it? Pretty good at sympathy. I'm not the best at empathy, except I'm an emotional sponge. If people are like sad around me, I just get sad, and I'm like, this is not good. Get away from me, you sad people. I got no reason to be sad. Does this look like Space Ghost? Yeah, this looks like Space Ghost. This is looking pretty good. Oh my gosh, I've just been doodling and drawing, and I gotta catch up on everything you said, Jackie. Ah. Bipolar disorder, that's the funny one. Like I've when I was talking to the psych class, that was definitely a big like, are you sure you're not? And I'm like, yes, I do not get manic. I get normal, or I get severely depressed, and like, you know, I go nonverbal. It's just like, all right, okay. Well, so real fiddly definitions. Like, I think I do have empathy, but it's that weird thing of just like, because my brain is like wired differently. There are just like, and I think that's I'm basing this more on like my asexuality than anything else, but just this idea of just like, I bet there are certain emotions that I have not experienced, which if you have not experienced an emotion yourself, can you empathize with another person? You can only sympathize. And like, you know, I do my best to sympathize as much as I can, but or, you know, it's not that I don't have it, but it's why I might have trouble with it, you know. Specific word choice. What am I doing here? Is this good yet? Am I spending my time well here? Let's see here. If I take... No, wait. I take this one. I duplicate it, right? And I take mouth bit and invert it. And then we're going to group it. Add a new, move that down. We're gonna take Space Ghost skin tone, which is vaguely that color. Now we're gonna paint this underneath. The great thing about Hanna-Barbera cartoons is they were making so many of them, so they had to make them pretty cheaply. So you don't really have to worry about shading or highlights or anything. We just put flat colors and get Frank Welker in here and move on. Fill in the whites of the eyes. So like at most, this is what, maybe what I should do is I should kind of bring down that beak for the overhead look, or maybe it looks fun. Maybe I move the mouth up. Maybe I move the mouth up. Right. Oh yeah, but then we just turn the group off and it's invisible. So a little there, fully invisible. Okay. I would like to hear more about that. This is a funny. I've described a lot of things today as funny, and I don't know are actually funny, but it's just the way I'm starting sentences today. Me and Joe have had talks because we don't have normal pillow talk. We get into breakdowns of things. An idea I was playing with is just like, you know, different kinds of connections you can have with people, and it's just like, oh, you know, you know, because or like, are you emotionally invested in somebody? Do you empathize with them, or do you just, because like you can just like that scared me because I was like, when did I put that on my soundboard? But okay, that was part of the song. Like if you have a relationship with somebody and you have a high empathy for them, you're emotionally bonded with them, then it's just like, oh, when you're sad, I'll get sad along with you, right? And if you're happy, then I'll get happy along with you. Well, whatever, you know? But then there's elements of just like, okay, well, what if you're somebody who like I enjoy the company of and will get happy together, but like when you're upset, that actually, you know, it kind of ends up being like no skin off my back, because we're like I take a joy from you, but we're not necessarily emotionally bonded. And then at some point I'm just like, oh, I bet that's pets for a lot of people, where it's just like, oh yeah, I enjoy you, I keep you around, we have like a relationship here, but it's just like we don't have an emotional bond. I just keep you around because you make me happy, but like I don't mirror your state. Also getting into a whole conversation about just like being able to recognize and vibe with animal emotions, because what is that? They did an experiment and learned that rats like to get tickled, which, like, yeah, have you been tickled? Sometimes it's fun. Unless you have sensory issues, it can be pretty fun. Yeah, I'm streaming. I'm just keeping my mouth moving because that's the nature of the job. Man, you would think if this was a job, I would make more money off of it. You think I'd make any money off of it? I don't know if I've ever gotten a payout from Twitch. Like, even what is it? We reached the peak of my tweet stuff always happens around like Extra Life. This, you know, I go to people and say, hey, I'm doing this big thing, I'm drawing people in, hey, this is the big thing for the year. The rest of the year is just like, yeah, I'm here, I'm hanging out. Sometimes somebody shows up. Where was I going with this? I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea where my brain was going to go next. By the way, I did notice your message the other day asking about tablets, and I've been trying to think of, okay, where am I going to approach that from? Because like, I don't know if I have super good answers, because like I've been very lucky that I haven't been able to like obtain drawing tablets and such without worrying too much about price concerns in the past. So it's like I'm a weird person to ask about that. But also I do have like some suggestions, and it's just like, okay, well, if I'm going to suggest, I should like pull up some links or something, right? Because like boy, I can pull them out, can't I? That one's buried in a drawer over there. For a while, I was using a monoprice tablet, which was definitely cheap. Had some issues with like pressure sensitivity sort of jumping around a bit, but all things considered was really totally serviceable. I used it for a long time. I used an Intuos, right? It's Wacom Intuos, not an Intuos whatever. I used an Intuos like Aught 8, which I think is the one that Joe still uses now, because when we met in college, Joe was like, "Ooh, can I try that?" And then we started going out, and then it was no longer mine. We took my drawing tablet before she took one of my hoodies. That's how our relationship went. Actually, I think it was after that I was like, hey, let me try this monoprice, because they're really cheap in terms of like entry level stuff. But the quality was better than you would expect for the price on the monoprice one. I'll give it that. I got a chance to play a little bit with a Wacom Bamboo. Totally serviceable, pretty good entry level. If you can stand getting like one that has a drawing area the size of like a note card. Here. Little tiny baby one. But like it's Wacom, so it's got good pressure sensitivity and all of that stuff. This one's wireless. No, got the module in it where you can put the battery and a wireless module, but this one is wired only. Pretty much if whatever you want to get, go with something Wacom, and any, you know, Wacom will get you the price, or will get you the quality, but like if you need to go something small like this, that's fine. And then there's the one I'm using now, which is the Wacom Intuos Pro, which is huge and has the buttons. Which I disabled because I kept hitting them with my palm. It has a wireless module, which I don't use because I don't trust Bluetooth and batteries. But it's nice and big and it works. And this is all... I don't have any of them out here anymore. Like when I started doing digital drawing stuff, I had one of the like industry tablets, because this was, I keep forgetting if this was before we moved up here, so this might have been like 90s. These are the ones that are like 14 by 14 drawing area and then a 2-inch bevel, because older technology. So like I was saying, like I've always been sort of out of the loop on like what is a normal person entry point for these kind of things. My dad worked big tech for big companies, and still does in a sense. Not nearly as big, but in a way that he can still be like, hey, I need to buy 3 of these so I can figure out if we want them for the company. And that means I usually end up getting to play with stuff too. And learn, and I try to hand off where I can, you know, when it's just like, hey, we got 3 extra of these, you want some? A lot of webcams, got a lot of webcams sitting in a drawer when people needed. Um, yeah, even that little bamboo one. So that's the thing about it. Like, if you don't mind like the super small, yeah, well, let me do a quick Google over here. Let's just Wacom bamboo. How's that looking these days? Products. Ooh, can you not get those anymore? Pride of Wacom Intuos Pro. Oh, they're pretty much just down to the Intuos Pro. Let's talk about pen tablets. You look at okay, Intuos non-pro seems to be what the Bamboo has become. You get the S without Bluetooth. What is that? What is that looking at? I'm looking at US prices here because I mean, webcams are fun. I would love to. Okay, the thing that I really want to do is I would love to. Okay, there you go. The smallest like that, my Bamboo size Wacom non-pro Intuos is like $70. Oh, that's still a lot, but it's worth the quality, all things considered. If you want to look at here, what is mono? Is mono price even good anymore? I haven't touched mono price in a while. I'll put in drawing tablet. None of this is drawing tablets. Yeah, but if I just say tablet, yeah, you're going to show me like iPads and stuff. That's not what I'm looking for. I will say I've been using, again, because I get a chance to play with toys, I've been using the iPad Pro something, with the Apple Pen. If you can get like any iPad that uses an Apple Pen, maybe even like refurbished, like again, you're paying Apple prices, but this, I've tried a whole bunch of like non-screen drawing tablets and a bunch of like touch and stylus screen tablets, and like this is the first thing that's been good enough where I use it as much or more than the Wacom Intuos. Before that, I had a Microsoft Surface that I would use for a while, but that one was just running straight up Windows, and because of that, it had like memory and CPU limitations that would actually, it would work fine, but it would also get real hot depending on what you were doing. Then also I was able to play Minecraft on it for, 45 minutes at a time before it got too hot. So there's also a bunch of like refurb stuff that's a little bit out of date, but would probably be a good place to go. Man, Wacom. What is the biggest Wacom I can get? And okay, yeah, pen tablets. So that means no screen. Intuos Pro 2025. Oh, it's got fancy buttons. It's got a jog wheel. Oh, it's got multiple buttons on the pen. Oh, it's got Bluetooth. Oh, it's got multi-touch. Mine has multi-touch. I turned that off. I don't understand the people who just touch the pen to the canvas. I am like full side of my hand, full pen. I'm touching this finger or this finger to stabilize when I'm drawing. I'll put if the page is big enough, my elbow will end up on that thing. Here, Wacom Intuos Pro L 500. That one has 2 jog wheels. Why? And it's only about. It actually doesn't even look as big as the one I have here. It looks smaller than this. Ew. Here, Pro 2017. Yeah, I probably got this around 2017, 2018. I believe it was. Yeah, I remember this. It's got a package design that's. This is absolutely the one that I have. Yeah, okay. scroll down to where you actually show me the ding dang products. I'll tell you what, approaching myself as an ADHD case, and I now have Adderall that I can use, I'm getting a lot more done. Not focused, but stuff gets done. I'll say that. Yeah, unemployed sucks. Well, again, the thing that is like kind of funniest to me is just looking at it going like, back when I was just approaching myself as like, oh, I am just a very serious depression case. Like, oh, I bet, you know, a lot of the stuff that I was chalking up to just depression is just like, oh yeah, it is kind of like, not even so much like lack of focus stuff, but when you start describing it as like, yeah, I have a serious executive dysfunction, and I thought it was just like, oh, it's just a matter of like, you know, I get obsessive on bad thoughts or this, or just like it's a lack of energy or motivation that comes from, you know, oh, I don't experience enough joy to make doing things worth it. And then it's just like, also just like your brain doesn't work in terms of, so here's again another idea I've kind of a theory I've been playing with, because I love to play with theories. Executive dysfunction stuff, I think, is like, it makes sense to me that it is when your like mental stage is strong, your connection to your mental stage is stronger than your connection to like the physical reality outside of your mind. Because I know that is something I absolutely do. Like, I will absolutely like have a conversation with somebody in my head and not recognize, and then like forget that I still need to have the real conversation, because it's just like, oh no, I had that conversation. It was in my head, but I had it, and that feels good enough, if not better or more real in a way, you know? Let me know if I'm calling you out again. Okay, there we go. And like that's because that's always very much been a thing for like me and my like depression and anxiety and stuff, is it's just like, oh, I get stuck in my head thinking about, you know, the worst things I've ever experienced, and you know, but yeah, just like, oh, remember all the things that upset you? Remember that thing you thought about once that was an upsetting thought, not based on something real, but just a thing? Yeah. It's I can't argue it anymore. I no longer argue it. But like, I've been starting to try and look at it. It's just like, okay, am I obsessing on these things? Is it like do I have some OCD from my father or something like that? Or do I just more easily live in my head than in the world around me? And that's just kind of what happens when you're in your head. What was the other part of it? Because I also have issues with dreams. And specifically, I have so many. There was a little while when I was like interested in the idea of like lucid dreaming. Not that I sleep so badly, so when I dream is a complete scattershot. So there's like no consistency that I could rely on to actually like get to a dream that I could try to be lucid in. But you know, I was looking into things like, oh, you know, start doing things in your waking life that are sort of tests to see if you're dreaming, and then once you make it muscle memory, then you will start to do it just kind of automatically in your dreams, and then when it fires and you're just like, oh wait, this is a dream, and that's how you kind of like kickstart lucid dreaming. And I got to the point where I started doing those tests while I was in a dream, but every time I fired it, and I'm just like, nah, that checks out, this seems real. And so it's just like, oh, okay, my brain can't process the difference between reality and a dream. But again, if we're looking at this as like, okay, a stronger connection to your mental stage than to what your, you know, sinuses, nope. Symptoms, nope. Senses, then stronger than the connection to what your senses feed in, and that kind of makes sense. Okay, so apparently I'm not saying anything new. I have spent so much energy, like, working my way into figuring all of this out on myself, because nobody ever noticed and told me, like, oh, hey, here are all the answers, and I'm just like, no, I'll figure it out. I've always been that way. I've never liked looking up the answers. That's why I was always best at math and geometry and worse at history and other, like, nothing to figure out, only to study kind of. Languages too. Languages I've gained a new appreciation for in terms of just like, yeah, no, there's enough like commonality in the like formation of languages that you can kind of be like, oh, I recognize a root in what you just said. Okay, maybe I can figure out what that sentence was. But it's harder that way. Got auto modded. Oh. Listen, I'm happy to talk about anything you want to hear about, but you gotta ask, because I'm just like, yeah, this is simply how things are. This is not needs to be brought up here. Mm-hmm. Add a hand. I need to draw a big ass hand, cover his big ass face. Maybe I'm gonna be done here soon. I can tell you part of what's wrong with that hand. That hand should probably be tilted a bit, because at that angle, it's not quite knuckles first. Knuckles first is how you know a fist is ready for a fight. Kind of knuckles back is like gripping. Knuckles first is like, let's go. But now it still doesn't look quite right. You know what? It's fine. And also, that way it might help. What is this music? Jason E. Strutting on by the Presleys. The way you walk, the way you talk. Can you help me? Where are my other fans of the W's in the house tonight? That's Happy Birthday! Sorry, that's Happy Birthday Soul by Ease Jammy Jams. I'm starring it so we can inflict it on somebody later. Oh, wait, the next one's Happy Birthday Funk. Oh, that sucks. I love it. Sucks. Positive. Space Ghost, show me your hand. Alright, we look at it like that. Then this bit. No. Right? Because we've got to kind of go this way. Middles, others. But does that look like a superhero's hand? What does that even mean? Doesn't look quite fat enough to me. Yeah, let's go fatter. I'll put more of an angle on it. Oh, I hear the kitty scratching at a chair. She must be awake now. Okay, but now I just kind of want to listen to the W's. I have not listened to them in a... Oh, I believe that was the end of the page. Show me more. Give me more. Fancy. So I know I was talking earlier about how like I went to people avoidance instead of people pleasing, and it's because like I'm always concerned about like being misinterpreted, and when people misinterpret me, I don't know if it's what I'm putting out there or if it's I've just run into people who make really nasty assumptions about others independent of being me, but just like history of being misunderstood and then like vilified or counterattacked or something to that effect. And so it's part of what keeps me connected so tightly to Joe is just that she is somebody for whom I don't have that fear, and it's a kind of like crazy that I don't. But like she's the only person I've ever really met who does what I try to do, which is just be like, hey, you just said something that most people are going to take as you being like a dipshit. I know you didn't mean that though. Like she like understands the like disconnect between like, yeah, sometimes we don't always say what we mean because, you know, people are dumb and language is hard, and you know, that we have language at all is kind of amazing. The idea of like, hey, we're gonna condense abstract thoughts into, you know, symbol filled sounds and glyphs, and we're going to make them even more complex by combining them and juxtaposing them. And it's just like, yeah, of course we're not going to get it right every time. Yeah, but it's like Joe's the only one I actually feel like safe just like saying what's on my mind straight out there. Like, I kind of have it when I'm sitting here, and you know, like I said, you're streaming, part of the job is like just keep making noise, just keep your mouth open. There's another job that's kind of like just keep your mouth open, but terms of service. And if you joined the $10 tier, no. Well, I mean, no. But like, it's because here, I don't know, I'm the admin of this channel. I get to say what I want, and as long as I'm not, you know, if someone mistakes me and starts doing bad things, I can send them into the sun because I have, you know, admin rights in the chat. Or at the very least, it's like I'm the only one who can turn off my camera, so I make sure that I have the chance to like keep talking and be like, all right, hang on, no, you're right, that's not what I meant. Let me try again and try to get the thought right this time, you know. True. There's one that I remember I did on stream. I think this was like a Doom WOD, which like I used to do those even earlier in the afternoon, specifically so people weren't around in chat, because people avoidant behaviors, social avoidance, whatever. I was like, I think I was talking about like voting rights or something, and I'm like, no, maybe you should have to you know, take some sort of basic intelligence test in order to be able to vote. And I had to like, it took me a minute to work through being like, no, as soon as you control who can vote, then you are getting into, you know, more direct forms of gerrymandering. That's bad. That's why we don't do it. It's like, I got there. It took me an extra minute to get there because I definitely think like systems first. But it's like, all right, give me a minute and I'll get there. I promise I'm not terrible. I just sometimes it takes, I prior, you know, different things come to mind for me first. Sorry. I'll get there. Or like even the same, just like, hey, if you tell me like, hey, that thing you did was kind of jerky, like my first thing is just like, well, I didn't mean to be a jerk, so I did something wrong. Can I try again? Let me try and make that right, you know? Number one rule of being human: you can be and are likely to be wrong. Like, this, more people need, like, and it's dangerous because there's something to be said for like, yeah, there are mean, evil people out there who will exploit somebody who is like willing to admit their wrongdoing. But it's just like, there's a lot of, I think there are more cases of people who like would do well to be more ready to apologize than to sort of double down and I don't know, what's the opposite of apologizing? Perfect. Why does that effect keep coming back? I mean, it is great, but and I've also been working on the like, that is like the autism part of my brain and being very systems minded first and foremost, and having to like force myself to remember sort of empathetic parts of things and consideration, empathy based considerations, because like there was so when I first got to RPI, and RPI was absolutely an engineering school. Like the fact that I went there, the fact that I like showed up first day ready to do a psych degree and then eventually twisted into video games, I was the weirdo. That was such a weird way to go. But like first week, I remember sitting in the in the cafeteria, and there was this dude who would sit down across the table from me and just start talking. And it was this thing. It was just like, he would just sit down and go, so what do you think about the new thing? Like that very just like not angry, but just kind of like a stern baseline monotone. And like would start no hello, how you doing, just immediately into the meat of here's the thing this conversation is going to be about. And I don't remember if I clocked it at the time, but I very quickly clocked like, right, engineering school, super autistic. But like, you know, and that was the thing about it. It's like, I bet for some other people that he could have tried that on, it would have been like, yo, why you being like a weird asshole or whatever. And me, I was just like, he's starting socializing. He's not bringing up mean things. He's not attacking. He's just kind of sounding weird about it. That's fine. But like that dude, I was just like, oh, I am like I am closer to him than to, I think, most normal people. So there was very much like, oh, is this how I come off to most people? Oh, no wonder people like take me very poorly when I'm not understood on the first try. Oh. And it very much became one of those like, yeah, this is one of those cases like there's no one to blame. This is just how the pieces of the state line up. Okay. I do very specifically remember. I was like, well, you know, I come from the city, so this is weird for me. It's like, Albany is a city. We're right next to Albany. And I'm like, you're right. Albany is a city. Nothing really compares to, you know, the 3 cylinders, New York, Tokyo, and Los Angeles. But you're right. Albany is a city. I didn't actually get into Albany all that much for being that near to it, and also having my own car at the time. We went there, I said like the very first week. There were some like icebreaker group outings that we all went on. And I went on the one to paintball, and I'm pretty sure we went into Albany for a paintball day outing. And that was something. I think that's maybe the second time I've ever gone paintballing, and it was fine. I'm just as happy with Nerf. What about Utica? Trying to remember where Utica is. My aunt used to work up in Utica because she worked for the Federal Reserve for a long time. I think Utica was even far up. Never really got around to Utica. Where was the Hey Joe? Where was that theater we went to for that magic show for your birthday that your mom took us to? Saratoga? Thank you. Yeah, Saratoga's pretty nice. It's a steamed hams thing, isn't it? I've lived in Utica and I've never heard. Right. Okay. I got there. The problem is when I think of a reference, I think of in the Marx Brothers, where they had I think it was a night at the opera, and the guy is like, oh, I had a piano teacher who lived in Oswego, and Oswego is where my friend went to school for a couple of years. So that's the upstate New York reference point, popular media reference I think of. Oh, I'm Oswego pilled. I don't know. Oh, now Joe's looking at a map. What have I done? It was either Saratoga or Schenectady? Schenectady's fun to say. Where was Glens Falls? Glens Falls was nice. It was just so cold. Schenectady. Schenectady, I think, is where. Oh my gosh, I've forgotten her name. The one we worked with at Bosie's. She was originally from Schenectady. Loved Frankie Valley and the Four Seasons. It was Schenectady. Okay, there you go. Asked and answered. Even when it wasn't super necessary. That's how we roll. That's. I did open the tab in her brain. That was on me. Oh. This is looking like a shit post. I like this. Again, though, am I done here? That's getting there. Okay, so we have that. Let's check this. That's funny. I take this, right? And I believe... Oh, boy. That blur. We have lens blur. Not gonna go quite the way I'm thinking. Oh, wait. Maybe it is lens blur, but it's... No. Can I rotate this? I don't get it. I might have to bring this into Photoshop for the rest of... And you're not even getting my... See, because I feel like... Okay, maybe I can simple fake it for the moment, right? As we do that, we group it, grouper it, add a transparency mask. That transparency mask is going to outline Space Ghost here. I don't know if I ever anticipated actually finishing this tonight in one sitting. It's okay if I don't. At least now it's started, you know? That's always a good start. What do I have to do? I might, I was already talking about Legos. I might go sit and play with some Legos to end my evening. Do I need to be contiguous? To what extent? Actually, I could probably just turn that off. Yeah, then it becomes gray. That's way easier to tell if I've missed any spots. Bum, bum, bum. Right there, does that look like a spot I missed, maybe? Bum, bum, bum. Oh, I forgot. I have time lapse set to default on in Krita, so there's a weird time lapse of all of this nonsense. Gonna have to clean up around this hand a little bit too. Yeah, I'm definitely getting too tired to care about doing this right anymore. Okay, so not like that. So drag fill mode? What is drag fill mode? I don't use, no. Fill mode. How am I doing this wrong? Did I break this? Oh. Whoa, texture. Okay. So definitely that, but not like that. F is drag fill mode. Fill a contiguous region. That's not contiguous. Unless for some reason you're counting outside, but why would you count outside? G is for gradient. F is for foreground color. Fill the active selection on the entire. Over my threshold? That'll do it. Okay. But the idea being that when you put that one back, there is the... There, you can especially see it down here. There is the sort of distortion. I wanted it to be more of a bubble distortion, but actually, yeah, now that that's separate too, so I can actually even blow this out more. Till you really notice it, yeah. And the thing that I would also do is add this, but very low. And trace from it with the airbrush until it only appears around edges of the ghost. That definitely plays that he's got X going on around him. It's pretty solid. I'm still not super happy with his pecs. I'll have to play with those, but generally speaking, that is what I was thinking of. Bring in this face, and now this I can also put a transparency mask on, and we'll go back to this. Say, yeah, man, anything that his hand is currently passing in front of, I should this a bit so I can see. Actually, what I should do is, where is this hand? This is, oh, that's just a hand? I can, sure. Might even be, oh no, I adjusted it. It's fine. I'm gonna clear it out. It's okay. I can fix that. Because it's basically just these. Go there. Up those. These go up there. Yes, they were just moved. Good. I'm gonna bring that back. Yeah. Base Ghost. All the way up. Nope. Stop. Stop. Yes, that's pretty good. I think that's pretty funny. If I had to call it something, I'd call it funny. How do you kind of make that? What if I went the other way? What if this was white? Because, you know, the ghost. Oh, that looks even better, I think, actually. That's very Space Ghosty. Even if I don't do any more, that's already pretty good. Let me... try one thing, though. You're the hand, you're the arm. You two are not. Let me give you a transparency mask. We'll transparency everything under the hand and arm. Because it'll make this a little clearer to look at here. Also need it. Clear these out. Ooh, that's a little better. But I made it a transparency mask. That way, if I wanted to be like, actually, what if it was just a little transparent through? No, because it's him. That's it. That's the way it should be. This. I don't know what all this stuff is, but I know I don't need it, so it gets grouped. I think it's just the X. I think there's another way I could do this actually, which is like I take the transparency mask and I paste into it as, yeah. But not like that. There. Okay, fill all that with the white. Right? So now we don't see it because it's outside the transparency mask, but now I can give it a layer style. One of these buttons is style here. And now if this one gets an outer glow, it'll glow into him. Just make it normal, full opacity, size. There it goes. Nice and uniform. Now that one I can play with the opacity on if I want to play with the opacity on it, which I do. Yeah, all right. That's enough to get my gag across. That's all I really needed. I have like the images in my head of the other ones, but that's it. We're there. Remember to sign your work. Where are my lines now? Your lines. What? Send me a blue sky. Can I look at it on stream? Okay. Okay. The Pope's tombstone? Oh no. Oh no. Yay. Wow, yeah, that V looks terrible. Francis Viz. Incredible. Yeah, that looks so... That A! Oh my god! Here, how do I... So you all can see what we're painting at. Whoops! Francis. Oh man. Alright, I'm redlining. Like, okay, they're fine, but oh my gosh, all of this. Oh, it's so much. And over here too. The V is a bit much. It's really most painful at spots like this where it's just sideways to an eye. Sometimes when it's I was gonna say when it's sideways to sideways, you can kind of get away with it, but I barely see that anywhere. Like over here, almost. Blame Joe. She sent me this on Blue Sky, and I have to share. She had to share pain with me, and now I'm over here sharing it with y'all. Okay. All right. I have a space ghost. I'm saving this. Yeah, because now at this point I'm just touching things again. You'll never be done if you never stop touching. Once you stop touching it, you're done with it. That's the great part about things. I was signing it. That's what I was doing. When are we right now? This is still technically April. Oh, that's gonna make it bad. That's already bad. Oh, we gotta resign it. Nope. Nope. How can I not be happy with the signature? I want to tuck it in so that way it's harder to crop it out, you know? Sure. Save it. Saving as PNG. Okay. And I can do I have tab, right? I can do tab. There you go. That's gonna do it. I'm gonna call that good enough. People get what I'm going for. Going back to this. All right. Hey folks. Thank you for hanging out tonight while I think around because I'm too tired to do anything real. Thank you, Jackie. It's always wonderful to have you around too. I'm gonna go take a nap. I hope y'all have a good rest of your night. Wait. I have a button for this. This is how many streams I've missed. I forgot that I have a ding dang housekeeping button. Pretty much none of that schedule happened. We had a highway book club and a backlog, and that was it. And I didn't make next month's yet. I last month I got good. I had the new one made before the old one, and well, then that schedule didn't get followed. So maybe that's not the best plan. Doesn't matter. If you're watching this on YouTube, thanks for sticking around to the end. Subscribe, leave a comment. Do you have a shit post you need drawn? My commissions are open. If you want to hang out while these are done live, go over to the Twitch, follow there. If you want to know when we go live on Twitch or when videos get posted, we have a Discord. Also, you can come by and say hi. And I said I wanted to do some kind of bonus stream to make up for the ones I missed this month. And I made a little post to be like, hey, any requests for games to play or stuff to look at or whatever. So if you join the Discord, you can join in on that discussion. And what's the last thing? Coffee. I thought coffee like black coffee, cream, no sugar. I like coffee black with sugar, but I'm trying to cut down on sugar, so I'll put milk when I don't have sugar. Coffee and Patreon, I got both. You can throw me $1, help me do this full time. I would love to do this instead of having to go do a day job. We'll see how that's going. But if nothing else, right now, or today, I was working on the post that'll go up odd through 7. So not tomorrow, but the day after, I'm going to try to get that Patreon post up. A little behind the scenes of all the stress that I've had to deal with in April and some of the stuff I've been working on. And I guess now I get to the link to the archive of this and this image that I drew are going to be in there. So there you go. How's that for fun? This looks really good. Now that I'm looking at this full screen over here, this looks pretty good. This is stupid. I like it a lot. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today. Thank you for hanging out. I had a lovely time. I hope you did too. Until next time I see you, take care of one another. Have a good night, everybody.